We'll share now about some power spots around the world. Scientists, spiritual scientists, they could identify 158 jewels around the globe. 158 power spots. Means very, very beautiful power spots where there's so much energy concentrated there. So some of them we could visit. Our first visit happened to be Philippines. So I must acknowledge all that help, support that we received from our friend Shreyans Daga, because he is such a wonderful, compassionate friend, master. He's a wonderful master who is instrument in building this Pyramid Valley. And when I said to him, I want to travel around the globe. So I had this great wish coming from my soul, and I know it will be miraculously, everything will be organized, because I don't have money, I don't have anything with me, and I still wanted to travel around the globe. How it is possible? So I only had a pure wish, pure intention in my heart. So Shreyan said, I felt oneness with everyone. So I felt oneness with the Shreyans. If Shreyans has money, it's also my money. So it's oneness. So Shreyan said, yes, you go. He supported so many travels around the globe. And likewise, Sridevi, Rajsekar, my very, very beautiful friends, and who are also co-founders of Life Research Academy, who supported in these journeys. So our first journey happened to be Philippines. So in 1990, when I began my meditations, I have read a book by Shirley MacLaine. Going Within is the name of the book. She mentioned about her world travels. She mentioned about one of the places she visited, Philippines, where she met beautiful people there, remarkable ones, psychic surgeons. So first time when we visited this place, it's also the calling of the land. We could feel a sudden home feeling. Our body felt very comfortable. It felt like India. India, we feel the most blessed country in the world globe. Wherever we go, we want to come back to India. So, and we decided to be born again only in India. If we have to come back another 1,000 times, we will come back only to India. That's for sure. Because it's such a sacred land. And wherever we go, we search for Indian friends. We search for Indian food. We feel even those people need to have Indian reincarnation memories otherwise. So we feel homely feeling. Philippines, we felt home, as if it's so much connected with India. So the land place is called Mabni, where there is a holy cave. So we stayed inside the cave for the entire night, whole night. And we have to walk through the cave, almost 45 minutes inside the cave we have to go. There is a kind of formations with calcite rocks formation. It's so wonderful vibration. It's the place from Lemurian times. That means almost millions of years back. Lemurian civilization, which existed before Atlanteans. They lived, Philippines is the land of Muse Lemurian civilization, where the part of the Philippines belongs to these Lemurians. So we felt such a deep energy there inside the cave. That cave is guarded by one spirit master. Her name is called White Lady. People, they see her. In the middle of the night, Lakshmi and myself felt being touched, as if somebody's hand was touching us. We both were very awake at that point of time. I also mentioned to Lakshmi also felt this touch. Everyone feel it. Whoever sleeping there in the night, they have the darshan, the appearance, the vision of this physical appearance of this white lady. We could feel the touch that day, and it's beautiful energy. So we almost traveled to this place 5 times so far. We feel so divinely connected to this place. And a great friend of us, we met him first time. His name is Alex Orbito. As a medical doctor, I used to think this body is solid. But he is such a wonderful healer. He said for him the body is energy. The body, atoms, and all these cells are just energy. There are spaces in between, and he can go inside the body without cutting open. It's called psychic surgery. First time I went through my own psychic surgery experience, I want to show you this. He's entering into my stomach, and without using knife, acts like a magnet. He takes out whatever negative energy in the form of these materializations. He materializes that. And I was not given any anesthesia. I was watching with open eyes. Lakshmi was taking these pictures. And there was tickling energy spread throughout my body. And there was no pain. And it took only 1.5 minutes. And I used to have all the time a kind of problem in my stomach all the time from my childhood. So, yeah, this is my first psychic surgery experience. I felt very good after this. So, this phenomena is called psychic surgery, and Philippines is the land where there are hundreds of psychic surgeons. So,
and we met some more amazing healers who had such talents. And one healer was a specialized, he was specialized in eye surgery. So he can just take out the eyeball, just clean it, and he can just keep it again. It was so amazing. It's unbelievable, but it's true. And as medical doctors, we have witnessed thousands of surgeries. And there was one more healer. He does remote psychic surgery. Like, for example, you'll be standing here, and you can just tie a plaster around your hand, and from here, I'll just do cut. And when you open and see your shirt, you'll see a cut in that plaster. And he can do surgery from a distance. So we have met so many amazing healers in Philippines, and it's really a blessing to meet Alex Orbito, and we have learned humility and humbleness from him. He's such a childlike person. It's so amazing to meet him.
He's a great supracausal being who came onto the earth for the healing mission, and he touched millions of people. He did this psychic surgery. He helped them. Yeah. He traveled around the globe. And he's very innocent. He's like a child. When he comes out, he will be just like a small baby. And we have amazing spiritual connections with Alex Orbito.
And he received this gift from the White Lady.
White Lady, the cave, in the cave. The White Lady, when he was a small boy, that time one day there was a big rain. So he was hiding inside the cave. Suddenly he heard a sound. Om sound. He thought it's some cow is making a noise. And third time also he heard Om, and he was watching for where this sound is coming from. From inside the cave, this white lady appeared. She said, you are here to heal people. You have the healing hands. You can do psychic surgery. You can go inside the body. When he came back, he placed his hand on his own stomach. His hand entered into his own stomach. He was so much fearful. He was a child at the time. He's fearful. At time, the hand was frozen inside the stomach. Mother said, "You are gifted. Don't feel fearful. You relax. It will come out." And he could come out. And then later on, he started doing the psychic surgeries. First case where he did a psychic surgery on a paralyzed person, hemiplegic. He was completely able to walk immediately. The hemiplegia was vanished immediately. So, amazing healer. And I learned about innocence, about humility, about simplicity. He's such a master. He does meditation 3 hours a day. Without meditation, that day is not complete for him. He can't perform psychic surgery. He has to be aligned. And when he is doing psychic surgery, his spirit master, spirit guides enter into him. he performs it. So he is an out-of-body state. His higher self will be inside his body. So I'll talk more about him in the later point. The website is there. If you Google search Reverend Alex Orbito, you'll find. Okay, there are many other video clippings. So, so friends, our second visit happened to be Findhorn village. Findhorn. It's in Scotland. So here, we heard about this spiritual community living together, doing wonders, miracles. It's a barren land. In 1960s, 5 people visited that place. They have seen this barren land. They meditated in that place. Immediately, the land spoken to them. They given the messages to them. We are going to help you. You grow beautiful heaven here, a paradise here. Grow plants, trees. This is an abandoned, barren land. Nothing can be grown there. But these people, they started actually planting there the seeds. And the nature fairies, elemental forces, they started helping them. They built a beautiful garden there, Findhorn Garden. When we visited, there all the people were speaking to...
Actually, when we went there, because it's so beautiful, it's land of fairies, actually. So when we visited there, our friends said, come, we'll introduce you to someone. So they took us to this beautiful garden, and they started introducing us to the wonderful tomatoes. And they said, see, our guests, Dr. Lakshmi and Dr. Newton, have come here, and they just introduced us to the tomatoes. And these tomatoes and cabbages, I have not seen that size anywhere in the world. They don't use any pesticides, no chemicals. They just meditate and communicate with the plants, and they are of this size. Amazing.
And we have seen beautiful garden there with flowers and trees, and whoever goes there, they will become farmers. We became farmers for 1 week. We also worked there, meditating with the plants and touching the mother earth and rolling in the mud, and we did all the things. And it's wonderful to be touching the land. It's so wonderful. So, friends, this is a beautiful place to visit. It's inspiration to the whole globe. Why can't we also live that way, where they have everyday meditative living? They live in action. It's like everything is not philosophy or visions or imaginary. It's not fantasizing, but they live it there. So they live meditatively, holistic way. And one more place in Scotland, near Scotland, it's called Inverness. This place is a special place. When I stepped my foot there, I felt a deja vu connection. I felt I lived here. First time I felt a kind of past life memory popped out. I felt I lived for 30, 40 years there, writing books. So by the side of this lake, I was there. I lived on this place. And it's a special place because there used to be this mythological creature called Loch Ness Monster. Loch Ness Monster. People used to see. And this is another ley line is passing through this. So a strong energy. And there we also met another great psychic who is also expert in psychokinesis, Uri Geller, an Israeli psychic, who used to bend spoons and melt keys or stop the moving escalator and shut down the power in one particular place with his thought power. So that day we were giving a talk like this, and the next lecture was by Uri Geller. And I was sitting in the front row, so he was about to demonstrate about how to bend the keys, how to bend the spoons. So I gave him a very thick spoon from the kitchen I brought, and a big spoon, because this skeptic inside me, I want to check whether he is applying any pressure on it or not. I want to see scientific, like a scientist. And he was holding the spoon in his hand like this. He said, bend, 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 3 times, and melted into 2 pieces, made into 2 pieces. Just in front of almost 300 people were there. And he started also putting the seeds in his hand. They started growing. He said, grow, grow, grow. The seeds growing in his hand, growing the roots and the little leaves, and he accelerated. he said we also all have thought power, power of thought. He brought all the...
Yeah, and he did one more thing. He asked everyone to bring those antique clock pieces, which the parts are not available anymore, and they are not working. So all of them, they brought all those old watches, antique clocks, and they just kept all the watches there, and he called all the children who were there in that group, and he said, with your thought power, now we'll make these clocks to start working. And they said, work, 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 and they started ticking. All the clocks, without any parts. So it's amazing.
Many children, little children, they could do it. They could bend spoons and move objects. And he said, anybody can do this because we have very powerful thoughts. Thought power is enormous for everybody. And if we can bend keys, we can do wonders. Anything we can bend in our lives, shift our lives. So it's a great message we received from Uri Geller.
We learned the power of thought from him. And so we can clearly understand that positive thoughts create positive results, and negative thoughts create negative results, and miraculous thoughts, miraculous results. Yeah.
So friends, another place that we visited, like this community, like Finhorn village, another small village in Italy, Damanhur, it's known as Damanhur, City of Lights, they call it. There's a founder of this community. He was a painter. One day he was walking through these mountains, Alps mountains. He suddenly vanished in that mountains. It's a portal. He ended up in Atlantean times. He was watching these Atlantis times, and he met those beings. He could interact with them. He saw all those wonderful structures, buildings, everything. He came back, he painted them. And they given him many messages to him. So when he came back with such message to build this kind of structures inside the Alp mountains. So few people gathered, they started digging Alp mountains, and they built beautiful temples of humankind. They represented entire human civilization from the very beginnings, even Atlantis civilization, inside these temples, 18 temples inside the Alp mountains. So,
yeah. Can you imagine when you go to this mountain, there is only one single door. But the minute you enter inside, there is a beautiful world inside. So they have built so many temples inside for meditation and beautiful paintings. And when you enter inside, you feel you're in a different world. So the paintings are not from this world. They are from the other world, actually. The colors they use, the paintings. And it's like a science fiction when you enter inside. So when we entered inside, we entered into a hall. And it was as if like there's no way out to go from there. So they asked us, can you find the way out from here? So we were looking like this, but there is no way out. It's closed. And there were paintings on the walls. So if you look carefully at the walls, there will be an indication, a hint. You can understand from where the door opens. So when we were just looking around, it was full of paintings of children playing. And on one side, there was a child showing like this. So when we said, this is the door, then immediately the door opened. And we entered down, and they have some technology called selfie. So they're all like crystal balls, and through these crystal balls, they contact the other extraterrestrials. And they have something called a time machine. This is not fiction, this is true. They have this time machine, and in this time machine, the founder of this Damanhur society and few of his close associates, they have traveled back in time. And they have brought back all the technology from Atlantean period, and they have understood that they were all Atlanteans in their previous lifetimes, and they misused the technology in that lifetime. So in this lifetime, their purpose is to use the technology to help humanity to find peace in this world. So it's amazing.
That's a beautiful place, and another ley line passing through these Alp mountains. And in that community, we lived for 10 days. We lived with them, and all nationalities, they come together, live under one roof. Even one small boy will be there, old man, and one Australian, one American, and Chinese, all together. They live together, community living. They share, and they're all amazing artists, musicians, and work is worship for them. So morning onwards, they work and work and work meditatively, with so much awareness, so much fun. And all their names are either plant names or animal names. One of the names is pineapple. One lady's name is Esperide Ananas. She came to one of the global congress. She demonstrated about plant communication, plant music. So friends, this is another beautiful place to is power spot. And Greece is another place that we visited with invitation from friends from Greece. We took some classes, and all the time we combine both. We want to see, look around, what's very interesting things. So we went to this place, Acropolis, and there I felt strong Pythagorean energies. That night, a dream I had where I felt Pythagoras as not in a form, but a formless, but I could receive the messages. Like he was instructing me to read his literature, to read whatever volumes he has written. Next day I inquired about this literature. He has written 23 volumes on spiritual science. 23 volumes there in translated into English, but I could not get that translated versions of this amazing literature. So this is another power spot. And another place is in France. It's the borders between France and Spain. It's called Montségur. Along with Spanish friends, we visited this place. There again, I felt strong connection to that land. I felt a past life connection.
Before that, I'll just share. In this place, there is a fort. And this place is connected to the Cathars. Have you heard about Cathars? Cathars. So Cathars are a group of people who believed, who followed the Christ teachings.
True Christ
the real teachings of Christ. But after a certain period of time, when the Romans started the churches and the popes started making it more Catholic and everything, they wanted them also to convert into the Catholic Church. But these people, they wanted to be with that real teachings of the Christ, and so they were running away from these Romans, and they came to this place, to this fort, and they were hiding in this place. But finally, the Romans, they just invaded this fort, and they said, you have to convert into the Catholic religion, otherwise they have just kept a fire, and otherwise you have to die. You have to jump into this and you have to die. So most of the Cathars, they prefer to die. They prefer to die into this fire rather than convert into the Catholic religion. So here Dr. Newton will share his own personal experience.
I jumped into the fire that time, so I recalled the past life, and also I met my brother. He is from Spain. First time I met him, there's such a soul connection. Every time he asks me to come every year to his place, and he will make sure that year we go to his place called Mascaladis in Spain, near Barcelona, and we stayed together in that life. But I miss my brother because he was not there the last moments when I died. So this is another strong memory from this place, Montségur, another energy.
Through this experience, we learned you have to live with your truth and you have to die with your truth. Yes.
So, yeah. So friends, another place is Montserrat, Spain, near Barcelona. These mountains are like spikes, like spiky mountains. And in Europe, they call it as a sacral chakra energy. So here, there are many visitations, there are many beings who appeared there in the physical form. So many people, they come to visit this place, but with second attention, second awareness, if we go, we really feel the energy of that place. We have been to this place several times with our friends. And another great experience we had in Spain, it's a place in Canary Islands, Tenerife. So we must mention about our great, lovely friends who also are here with us today, Winnie and Keys from Tenerife. With the help of them, we visited Tenerife. Winnie and Keys, are you here? Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
yes.
good,
Yeah,
good,
wonderful,
yeah,
wonderful. Yeah. So, oh, they are up.
Okay.
Oh, there. Oh, my dolphin. Dolphins.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So,
So,
we first time visited Tenerife. Lakshmi had a beautiful experience.
yeah. So we came to know about Winnie and Keys and the work they are doing with dolphins through some common friend in Holland. So immediately we planned a trip there. And the first time when we went there, they took us in a boat, a small group of people. We went inside. And actually, I was so eager to see the dolphins. We went there to meet the dolphins. So the first day we went into the ocean. Everything was fine. Before we had to start going into the ocean, they do something wonderful. First, we clean up the ocean. Because we all know that as tourists, they just throw up the plastic cans, water bottles, everything into the waters. And most of the dolphins, they are trying to clean up the trash, that plastic. But when they're trying to do that, they just get suffocated with that plastic. And so many dolphins are dying every year because of this. So I think we need to be very sensible as human beings not to throw plastic everywhere, because these simple, stupid acts of ours are just taking away the lives of those wonderful beings, actually. So then we just cleaned up, because that makes the dolphins very happy. They feel very happy when you clean up the ocean, when you take away all the plastic and all the rubbish. So then we went inside, and we just went, and after 2 hours, we started seeing whales. And before even the whales appeared, I started feeling a very intense sensation in my solar plexus. And I started feeling nausea. It was such a strong sensation, such a strong feeling. Because later I came to know that whales have this strong grounding energy. They activate your lower chakras, and they ground you. And after that, we just met the whales, and we were so happy to see them, because they're so mature, so gracious. It was a wonderful experience. But we couldn't see the dolphins. And the next day was my birthday. So actually, Dr. Newton took me there. It was my birthday gift, actually. So then, the second day when we went inside, the same thing. Nothing, no dolphins. Whales were just appearing on and off, and as if they were very busy, they're having a conference, they were just looking at us and going away. So this happened the whole day, and we were inside the ocean for almost 4 to 5 hours, and no trace of dolphins. So then I was feeling so, it was an intense experience, and I was feeling so tired at the end of the day, because we were just looking, and no dolphins. So then what I felt is, I was so tired, and I told my friends, I'll just rest for a while, and I just went to the back seat of the boat, and I was just lying down. And our friends were also disappointed, because they couldn't show dolphins to us. So then what happened, it was almost evening, and we had to return back. And they said, anyway, you couldn't see the dolphins, so maybe we'll stop somewhere for a while, so that you can just get into the waters and feel the waters. So then what happened, I was just hearing these words, but I was in a very deep state. So after a while, they stopped the boat at some point and asked Newton, do you want to come into the waters? So he entered the waters. And suddenly, from the deep state, I was just communicating to the dolphins. I told them, I came all the way to meet you, but I couldn't meet you. It's okay if you don't want to show up, but it would be nice if you just come and, meet me. I'll be very glad. It will be my birthday gift. So I just felt this, and I don't know what happened. Suddenly I got up. I don't know swimming. I can't swim. I suddenly got up, and I said, I'll enter the waters. And I suddenly jumped into the waters, and we just swam for a little while in the waters. And after that, you know what happened? Hundreds and hundreds of dolphins started appearing. And they just, it was as if like, you know, they were dancing and they were giving a show for us, you know. They were welcoming us. They were so joyful. And the tears started rolling down my eyes with, there were tears of joy. And the boat was just coming and they were just following the boat and they were looking at us like this. And it was such a joy, I can't explain. And I became like a child, you know, as if I'm here. The playfulness of the dolphins. It was an amazing experience. I can't share it in words. And they did this show for almost half an hour. Everywhere, look this side, dolphin jumping, 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 hundreds of dolphins. And they just gave a send-off till we reached the shore. It was such an amazing experience. So let us give a big clap to these friends, the dolphin friends, and the whales.
Yeah, maybe after some time.
And the most important thing I learned from the dolphins and the whales is the boundaries. Like, for example, in most of our relationships, we have problems because we intrude into each other's space. We don't respect the boundaries of others. But here, we learn from them how to give that space to each other, how to respect the boundaries. Because here, I didn't demand them. I have come all the way. Please come up here. They'll not come if you demand. So you have to connect with your feelings, and you have to just wait for their experience, because it's an energetic experience. It's not a physical experience. You're going there and they will appear. No. So each day was such an amazing experience, such a mystical experience.